Welcome to TLC for the Soul podcast, where soul meets spirit. You have entered into sacred space. I'm your host, Tammy Lynn Chambers, and I'm here to help you shine. Now let's get going on this podcast journey. Hello, friends. Hello, and welcome to the first podcast of 2021, where we're going to be doing the actual energy reading and energy update or forecast, whatever you want to call it, for the, we're going to take it this year, we're going to do these by quarters rather than going the whole year into detail. So I'll be looking at the overarching theme of January to March. And in this podcast, we'll be diving into the January forecast in greater detail. So, as always, before we just jump right in, we're going to set up our sacred space, call in our guides, get in that receptive mode, whatever that means to you, and allow for whatever messages are meant for you to find you. So right now I'm wrapping us all in a circle of love and light. And if you'd like to pause the podcast for a minute and get yourself settled, get whatever you need that helps you to receive messages or insight or clarity. Some of you may be listening to this. I always say, you set your own listening intentions. So some of you, may not know how to connect with your spirit guides and are just kind of listening to this to kind of get some information. And if you're interested in going deeper, then you may want to set that intention. Like, I want to hear from a spirit guide that would introduce themselves to me during this energy update. And for those of you that are more advanced, already know how to set up your own sacred space. Set up your own. I'm going into another dialect here. But set up your own sacred space. You'll want to do that now. Call in your guides as I'm calling in our guides to join us here in this sacred circle. Okay, and I'm inviting in the guides that most want to work with us in this now, having to do with receiving energy updates and downloads and information about this time period of January to March. So the way we're going to do these, and I have not done these types of readings like this on the podcast before, I've mainly done just YouTube videos, but I want these updates to go out to a wider audience. So I will be pulling a few cards and doing intuitive reading from one of my books. So any cards that I pull, pictures and so forth, I will link to those, and I'll post a picture of those over on my Instagram if you want to go look at them there and see them in more detail. And if we need to go into more depth there, we can. But I am using just one tarot deck, the Dame Darcy Mermaid Tarot deck, and I'm using my own personal handmade Dragons of Lancashire deck, and I'm going to be asking Spirit to help me pick a few passages that pertain to this energy that's coming up out of my book from the Soulmates series, Chaga and Chai. So let me just tap into what guides are wanting to join us in this circle at this time. I know some people don't really need to know, but I know there's others of you that kind of like to know, who are we talking to? Who's here with us? Who's sharing this information with us? So it's going to be a very watery episode, they're saying. I've been working a lot with the energy of the Smoky Mountains in the U.S., in Tennessee. And we've got the Mermaid deck. So we've got water coming in. We also have Goddess Sophia. And I only work with energy beings of the highest dimensional frequency, highest love light, those that are here to give us messages for our best and highest good. I am on an awakening path, awakening journey, or some may call it an ascension journey. And we vibe pretty high over here at TLC for the soul. So if you're looking for other types of messages that maybe like if this sounds like, whoa, this is just too high vibe for me, either one, you'll want to stick around and listen because you're getting an activation, or sometimes concepts that are too high vibe for where you're at on your journey just don't make sense to you in the moment. And you might just need to like find a different podcast to listen to or a different energy update to listen to. I know sometimes like a little further back in my journey, like this is coming up for a reason, but a little further back in my journey, I would read like really high vibe stuff and I would be like, oh my God, I don't even understand what this is saying to me. Like it just was like a jumbled mass. And then as I evolved and awakened, I don't want to call it that, but as I became higher in frequency and some of my more higher frequency spiritual gifts started to come online, and some of the veils of illusion were lifted from my consciousness, then at that point all of those teachings and readings like made perfect sense to me. So if I don't make any sense to you, like it's probably not the best podcast for you at the moment. So just putting that out there. All right, so I'm going to try to get comfortable, and I'm actually not outside today because it's really cold and I have a short window of opportunity to record this today, and Spirit's kind of like, get back to work. And so I wanted to do this. So I'm actually inside and I've tried to turn off all annoying sounds and bring in some nice outside nature sounds. So if it sounds a little bit echoey, it's because we're within these four walls. So let's see. Let me just make sure I know there's others, the Goddess Sophia. So there's Archangel Metatron is here, and I kind of had a changing of the cards per se over the solstice, and really I guess a little bit sooner than that, probably since the 11/11 gateway with the guides that I was working with. I had previously kind of worked with Archangel Michael for everything. If it wasn't something that I worked with my other personal guides on, then I just called on Archangel Michael for everything, and just slowly kind of phased out, kind of okay dear, you're ready for somebody new. And Archangel Metatron came in, and I've been working with Archangel Metatron and no, he's not really new to me guy, but Archangel Raziel came in, and they're both teachers of higher consciousness, higher vibrational spiritual gifts and abilities. And that's another thing that we'll start to be diving more deeply into in the podcast, is some teachings that are a little bit different than something that you might have heard before. So as we're already 8 minutes in, I'm going to talk about that later. But let's just get into the energies of January to March. So we have Archangel Raziel here, Archangel Metatron, and the Goddess Sophia sharing these insights with us. And the overarching theme that I was given, so I was given the other day all the overarching themes for the quarters of the year, and love and relationships, sacred partnerships was the overarching theme for this first quarter, January through March. And so for 3 months, we're going to be talking about love and relationships, sacred partnerships. But right now, for the month of January, we really want to hone in on focus on this month and what there is to share about this month. So I'm diving into the tarot deck, and they've already given me 3 cards that just popped out. So we're going to build on these. So we got the Page of Wands, the Hermit, and the Emperor. And I kind of like to lay them all out and let them form a little story here. And so underneath those 3 cards, I'm going to draw an oracle card. This is my deck. So under the Page of Wands, I have Connect with the Spirit World. Under the Hermit card, I have Within the Power of the Trees lies the secrets to all you need. And under the Emperor card, I have Fun is Required Right Now. And so the first thing they're telling me is that while this seems like this is just a love reading, like it's going to be this type of like ooey gooey love reading, the messages pertain to other types of relationships as well. And it isn't just, it is a love reading in that it has to do with divine love and, like I said, sacred partnerships. But this reading overarchingly has to do with soulmates. So soulmates come in different forms, and it's not always a romantic partner. So I want you to keep that in mind, and Spirit will kind of direct my messages to share examples based on, what they most want you to know in this now. So it's kind of like this is either a romantic partner or a soulmate from, like an Anamkara, they're saying. So someone from your soul group who is not necessarily romantically inclined, but who will be very close to you in this now. And so for me, like, I would call that person, like right now in my life, that my other soulmate is kind of like my son. We're very close, like friendship, had many past lifetimes together, and just take what resonates, what I'm talking about as well. Like, if you don't believe in past lifetimes, it's fine. Like, it doesn't mean the whole reading is ditched. It just means you don't believe in past lifetimes. I do, and so I will speak about that a lot. So just, overlook that if you don't believe in that. But my son and I have had quite a few past lifetimes together, and he's just a very special soul friend to me in this lifetime. So those are 2 examples that they're giving me. Now, before we dive more into the cards, I've got my book Chaga and Chai, and the way that I read the way I read from this intuitively is I just like flip it and just like picking a card. Spirit will have my finger land on a page, and then they'll tell me what parts to read. So let's see what they want us to read from Chaga and Chai. And the reason we picked this book, just to give you a little bit of a background, this is from my Soulmate series. So we're talking about soulmate relationships for January to March. This book, though, is There's No Stopping a Love That Is Meant to Transcend All Time and Space. Larimar McDougall is in Scotland. I'm going to paraphrase a little bit. She knows her love is out there somewhere. She's been seeing him in her dreams since she was a child, and now he's appearing in her mind's eye and speaking to her. And she just is like, is this a dream? Is this a real person? And then Billy Tavish, who is in LA, California, it says, his gentle and kind demeanor belies a magical and introspective guy who all the ladies want to get to know better. And Billy's heart is set on finding his love of a lifetime. He knows she's out there, at least he hopes so. He's been visiting her at night in his dreams, and now he's seeing her in visions during the day. Is she real? He has to know. The soul knows the way, and there is no stopping the bonds that have been set when 2 souls pledge their undying love for each other. So divine timing, soul union, sacred partnerships, and passion and sensuality are explored in a story of perfect divine union and the love that brings it all together. So let me just, we're going to stop, and they're going to tell me to read the right side of the page. Okay. So I'm going to read it, but first I want to tell you where we're dropping in. So, holy smokes. Okay. Billy, who's our soulmate guy in this book, in this part of the book, they're dropping him into a part where he has set up a lunch date with a quote-unquote old friend of his. It's someone he has past life karma with. Her name is Chanda Rose. She is a very powerful psychic. And Billy, in the book, has been seeing all these visions, and he's been dreaming about Larimar, who is his true soulmate. You can put any other label on it you want, but in this case, I'm calling it, quote unquote, the one. She's not a karmic partner. He's almost done with karmic relationship. He's almost done with them. That's where we're dropping in here. He's not quite finished. He's like tying up loose ends with a karmic partner. Holy smokes. So that's that's kind of where we're at in January. So let me just read a little bit what they want me to read. So Billy, he wanted to talk more about Larimar. So he's going to Chanda Rose because he was hoping as a psychic that she could give him more information about, he doesn't even know her name is Larimar at this point. He thinks her name's Laura. He just kind of heard in his mind like a name. He kind of sees a face. He astral projects to her during the day sometimes and in his dream time at night. And he is excited, but so it sounded so foreboding yet enticing at the same time. He reminded himself about the abstinence, so he's abstaining from women, and felt that this whole situation had something more to it that was contributing to his lack of closeness with other women. That was until he had held Chandra close and felt a deep sense of urgency in his groin. What the heck was that? He'd been trying to figure it out all during lunch. They had arrived at their destination, which was on the beach, and he got out to help Chandra out of the car. Their hands touched, and he felt it again, but brushed aside his thoughts. He wanted to focus on this dream girl. They took off their shoes and made their way out onto the sand and down the steep incline to the beach below. Several times, Chandra almost tumbled down onto the sand, losing her footing in the softness of it. Billy caught her arm, and she could smell his cologne. They were laughing as they finally reached the shoreline and stood there silently watching the waves come in. I never get tired of this, Chandra said, looking lovingly out over the ocean. I couldn't imagine being away from the water, she said with tears in her eyes. Why the heck was she crying? She had no idea. And then it came. The floodgates opened, and she was crying and trying to dry her eyes with her handkerchief from her purse. I don't know what's come over me, she said, embarrassed again at her lack of composure. She silently tapped into her spirit guides, but they were silent, letting her figure this all out on her own time. Okay. Oh, you guys. So, January. This really does lean heavily into romantic partnerships. So many of you are finishing up karmic relationships. You may either be still living with this, still residing with this person. This may be somebody who kind of pops back in after they've been gone for a while. And you kind of thought, oh, we're just friends. And then suddenly it becomes like this, maybe we're still more than that, but I'm not sure. So what's happening on the beach is Billy and Chandra are like, oh, we're just friends, and we've always just been friends in this lifetime. But something from a past life pulls them together, and they have this, I don't want to spoiler alert, but they kind of hook up. They kind of hook up on the beach, and then it's all confusing. Billy's like, whoa, I really just wanted to focus on my dream girl, this Larimar girl, who's like I keep seeing chosen one, who's like my chosen one. But this Chandra girl kind of came back into my periphery, and I have to deal with this tying up of loose ends, which in this case was kind of just like a physical getting back together. Like it just kind of quelled a physical urge. You guys. So the sacral chakra needed to be, there was pressure in the sacral chakra and it needed to be released. And so what we're getting here is you're going to possibly come up against a resurgence of someone who comes in and brings up some deep emotions in you. But those deep emotions are coming not from the heart, but from the lower extremities. My guides are saying the lower extremities. And so you're going to have to make a choice. Like, do I just give in to this quote unquote passion? Knowing that I really want more than this. This is really not what I want. Or can I redirect that passion somewhere else that's kind of more beneficial to me at this time? Maybe some creative work or, oh my God, my guides, self-pleasure. Knowing that this karmic partner is really not meant for you. And what's going to happen here and what happens in the book is it really muddies the waters. Billy gets all confused. Chandra gets all confused. She goes back to she's already in another relationship she's in a long-term relationship with someone else. And so it causes a lot of turmoil, this little one-night stand on the beach. So just really, that's where this Page of Wands and this Connect with the Spirit World card is coming in. So before you decide to jump back into something like that, where there's a lot of passion, but it's more like, they're giving me these words, there's more like, this is totally channeling. So it's like sex drive passion, okay? Some of you may have been abstaining for a while just because you wanted to, work on your spirituality, you wanted to work on yourself, you wanted to work on your career, you didn't want to be in a relationship. Suddenly this person from the past shows up and you're kind of like, whoa, feeling the feels with this person, even though in your heart you know that they are not the one for you. And if you do decide to kind of give in to that lust, we're calling it lust, then it's really going to cause a lot of confusion in your heart space. Because where you're at now on your spiritual journey, you're not meant for one-night stands anymore. You are wanting the type of physical pleasure and relationship with someone that speaks to your heart. So in this case, with Chandra and Billy, they have their little one-night stand, and then all of a sudden he's like, whoa, I knew I shouldn't have done that. And she's like, whoa, I knew I shouldn't have done that. And then there's kind of some repercussions in the mental body. Like it gets all jumbled, and they have a hard time clearing it. For Chandra, it causes a lot of problems in her other partnership, her sacred partnership with her chosen one, Sky. And that all kind of jumps off into another third book with Sky and Rose where they have like a big breakup. I'm just doing like spoiler alert. Billy has a lot of soul searching to do, and in this case, he's a little bit further along on the wrapping up karmic partnerships path, and he's able to kind of clear all of that the loop between him and Chandra. And he's able to get back on course relatively quickly, back to finding Larimar, because he hasn't found her yet. And so this is the Page of Wands and this Connect with the Spirit World card, which is the first card in this reading. It's like, okay, when this Page of Wands comes in, like whoosh, like flies across and ignites your lower chakras. It's like, oh, I know it's hard, but can you detach for a moment, and can you connect with your guides, and can you check in and say, whoa, is this really where I want to go? This is a crossroads moment. They're showing me the two of whatever it is. This is the two of swords, is it? We're the crossroads where it's kind of like, well, I can make this choice and I can head down. It's a detour path. Okay, and if you don't want to detour, if you are like, I want to be fast-tracked to my soulmate, then don't take the detour path. Well, you can because you have free will choice, but if you take the detour path, you are derailing. They're saying you're derailing your journey by months, by several months, because you're going to get all confused and you're going to have to kind of work through all of that. So if you want the fast track path to your soulmate, then you really want to stay in your heart space. And if you're in your heart space, then this karmic and the sexual union energy, right away you're going to know that that's not for you, and you can go find that release somewhere else, and not hook up again with this karmic person. But the choice is yours. Another way you're going to know, which is the second card set in this reading, it's the Hermit, and within the power of the trees lies the secrets to all you need. So what's going to happen here is you're going to make a choice, and some of you are going to choose to go one way, and some of you are going to choose to go the other way. And they're wanting me to talk about both. So if you take the detour route, then the only way to get back on track and kind of help fast track you getting back to your quest for your chosen one is to go into hermit mode and to really do soul searching, to get outside in nature as much as possible, because this is an important part of your journey. This is kind of like, am I going to let myself be swayed from my path by a lower vibration, which in this case was the lust energy. So it sounds like some of you are still clearing like lust. Oh my gosh, they're talking about pornographic material. So some of you are still clearing, like I'm not talking about that, but they're just saying like some of you are still clearing lower vibrations that have to do with the sacral. Oh my God. Okay, there's a lot going on there. There's a lot of lower sexual things within the chakras that need to be cleared if you took that detour. So you'll want to work really with your guides, going into hermit mode and asking for help with clearing your sacral chakra, and really spending some time there in the root and the sacral. Like, why do I need to be involved with the lower energetics of the sexual experience? Let's just put it that way, because they're showing me like more detail that I want to talk about here, but you get, I think they're saying you'll know. If this is talking to you, you'll know. If you are the detour people, you're going to know, and you're going to need help with clearing that. If you are the people that said, oh no, I'm still abstaining, I recognize that this is not for me. This hookup with this karmic partner is not for me. I know that. I know how to work with my sacral chakra energy. I've already cleared it. It's already, my chakras have already kind of evolved to a higher level. And you're going to know this because a lot of you are going to see your chakras as no longer you're no longer going to see your chakras in primary colors, okay? You're going to start seeing your chakras in either white, diamond light, or more of like neon, higher vibrational colors, and no longer primary colors. So you'll know right away, because the karmic partner will not speak to you in the same way that it would if your chakras were not as evolved and vibrationally vibing higher. So you are the third card set in this reading, which is the Emperor, and fun is required right now, which is card number 3 in this deck. So if you chose to kind of send the karmic partner away, you're going to know intuitively that you need to cut cords with them. You need to delete the karmic contract if you feel that it vibrationally still exists. You need to have ensure your boundaries. The next card on top for this draw would have been the boundaries card. Boundaries. You're going to have to set strong boundaries with this person. You may they're saying you may need to meet them on the 5D and say, I no longer vibe like that anymore. Tell your person, like, don't contact me anymore. If you feel like you don't want to talk to them on the 3D level, then you can meet with their higher self in 5D and kind of like just hash it out in the 5D and say, this is done. Let's let the 3D of your person know that this is done, and to stop trying to break in and muddy the waters with me. Because sometimes if the karmic partner is not as vibrationally aligned as you, which is most likely the case, the karmic partner is either partially awakened and most likely not on the spiritual journey like you, because you were attracted to them way back in the past before you started a spiritual journey, and they've just kind of been a hangers-on. As you've evolved, they haven't evolved, and that's part of what pulled you apart. They decided not to go on the ascension path or the awakening journey, whatever you want to call it, the spiritual journey, and you did. And but there's still a little bit of history there. So this is like vibrationally, they can feel you have pulled away from them, and now they're trying to come back in to get you to. For them, they need you to notice them and to put your light back onto them, because they can feel that your light has dissipated, not necessarily been removed, but that you are not their focus anymore, and so they feel something missing, and it's your light and your high vibration, and so they are being pulled back to you. A lot of times too, lower energies are working through this person because they do not know how to work with their own energetic field. They don't know how to clear out their energy, and so they attract, holy smokes, they're saying they attract sometimes demonic forces to come in. Oh, I got big chills there. They attract sometimes, light language. We're going to be doing light language on here now too, if you haven't seen my light language videos. But anyway, yes, lower vibrational forces can easily attach to people that don't know how to work with their energy. And sometimes those lower vibrational forces take advantage of this person and use them to lash out at others. And in this case, it could be you, and you could be on the receiving side of quote unquote psychic attack or spiritual attack from this person. Oh my God, okay, you're going into detail. Like their eyes gloss over and they kind of lose themselves to this outside entity who comes in and takes over and tries to manipulate you through lower energy. Holy gosh, this just speaks so close to home. So I'm sorry, like I just keep saying holy smokes, because this is a personal journey as well, which is why I can speak about it so openly, frankly, and with so much zest and enthusiasm. So don't fall prey to lower energy. Keep your boundaries really strong around this person, especially if the karmic relationship is one where you are still severing ties. Like I said, some of you are still residing with karmic partners, and it's not that you don't want to leave them. You've already set those intentions to leave these partnerships. But Spirit is creating an exit for you that is different than what you might have thought. So you might have thought like, yeah, I'm going to go out on my own. I'm going to create my own timeline. I'm going to go do some work by myself. I'm going to focus on my career. And I'm going to make enough to get away from this person. And Spirit's obviously going to help me with that. And Spirit was like, no, little darlings, we've got something better for you. We are bringing in a sacred partnership, a divine union, your quote unquote the one, your chosen one, someone you chose before this lifetime, who is going to come in and help you to get out of this karmic partnership. And they're wanting you, your guides are wanting you to not feel guilty and vulnerable about that. This is an out that you created with this sacred partner that's coming in before this lifetime. This is not like I'm too weak to help myself and I need somebody to help me. This is not I have to depend on somebody else to meet my needs. This is a balancing of I'm gonna cry. This is a balancing of karma. It has nothing to do with you being weak. You are the warrior spirit that created this timeline, and you are supposed to practice receiving what is going to be offered to you. It has nothing to do with having to, that's a lower vibrational thing, like I have to depend on somebody else. You don't, because you are going to be kind of rewarded this chosen relationship, this soulmate relationship, the one who's coming in that really belongs to you. This is a reward for all of the spiritual work that you've done in previous lifetimes and this lifetime up until now. All the karma you cleared, all the bad relationship, I don't want to say bad, but all the relationship lessons you've learned, everything you've gone through, all the obstacles you've overcome. This is your rewards and your blessings coming in. So don't mistake it for something other than that. You're whole and complete. You are a divine feminine or masculine, and your divine feminine or masculine that's going to come in is whole and complete. And just because you may not be in the position, like monetarily, financially, able to end this relationship and move out on your own or whatever, because you're not meant to do that. You're meant to partner with this soulmate that's coming in, and then you guys are going to build an empire together. And it may just be that the person coming in has the resources that you need right now, and the resources that you have to offer may not be monetary resources, but they may be healing resources. They may be it goes like beyond the resources you have to offer in reciprocation for the monetary and financial help and guidance and some of the 3D resources that your sacred partner is going to offer to you just far outweigh any of the money that is going to be offered to you to help you get situated and help you get back into a place where you're able to finally end this karmic partnership and move out on your own, or possibly, set up a household and start to build a life with this new person. So don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Like when it comes and somebody comes in and they're offering you all these physical needs that you need to help you take this step forward, like they just keep saying, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Just accept them. Learn you've been spending so much time learning how to receive. Just learn how to receive these gifts and know that what you give back in terms of your heart, your love, and your energy towards building this new life for yourself and this other person just far outweighs anything that you feel like you might be taking from someone, because it's not being seen like that at all. What will be given will be freely given from the heart, and it's not coming from this person, it's coming from source through this person to you. So if that helps you to see it that way, then I would definitely invite you to start thinking about it from that perspective. That's a big January, friends. This is all January. This is the potential for a karmic to either still be around or come back into your life and try to kind of mess around and muddy your waters a little bit through their own insecurities and lower vibration, as well as being a little bit goaded by outside lower energies. You're being asked to stay in your power if you choose to do so, to really go within. If you're at this crossroads where you're like, should I hook up with this person? Really go within and search your soul and your heart space and say, isn't love really what I've been looking for all along? And really search your soul and make the best choice for yourself. Get out in nature as much as possible and know that this Emperor energy, this divine masculine, this divine feminine, this chosen one is coming. They're just so close. But they could even be the ones on the receiving side of this karmic energy. And if they allow themselves to be pulled away into dealing with a past karmic partner, then it might potentially derail them from reaching out to you for a couple of months, because they're going to be all confused again. So if you want them to come sooner rather than later, then you've got to hold some space for them. You've got to hold space, prayers and meditation, meeting with them in the 5D and sharing what you know about what could potentially happen, and just saying, I know the choice is yours, asking for higher guidance to help them, and saying, you know the choice is theirs, and you just trust that they're going to make the choice for their highest and best good. Pray that they will make the choice that's for their highest and best good, which is really for your highest and best good as well. And just pray that they take the higher vibrational route. Yeah, that's all you can do at this point. That's all you can do. All right, friends, that's a big January. We're going on to 45 minutes. So I'm going to end this here. I'm going to thank our guides that have stepped in for this. Any of the photos, like I said, I'm going to put a link to those if you want to see the photos of the cards. The book, if you're interested in Chaga and Chai, can be read for free wherever ebooks are. So Smashwords, Scribed, which if you sign up for a Scribed membership with the link in my show notes, you get 2 free months of Scribed, and I get 1 free month of Scribed. So you can check out the book for free there. It's also free on Apple Books, Google Books, and other ebook retailers, not Barnes & Noble though, and not Amazon, but other places that you can get ebooks. So I want to thank you all for listening. We will continue this month's podcast with our page-a-day stories. We're going to be writing about Tamber. Next, Tamber and Jameson, moving away from Dakar and Abigail a little bit. And then our teaching for this month, later on this month, we are going to be talking about stigmatas and New Earth spiritual powers. So I'm hoping that you'll tune in for some of these future episodes. And I thank you all for joining me here today. I release our guides and I release this sacred circle from around ourselves. And I bid you all a beautiful month of January. Take care. Thank you for listening to this podcast. It has been brought to you by the Bringers of the Light, an etheric group of higher light beings focused on service to Gaia, humanity, and the self as it pertains to the spiritual journey. So they are here to support you on your path to love and to working with others. Thank you so much for joining us. Take care.